Dude, what's the biggest pumpkin you've ever touched?
Something at Sunny Acres, probably.
How big was it?
Probably really fucking big. I don't remember. I was like a very little kid. Like I was probably 8 and it was bigger than me.
You go inside it?
No.
Little pumpkin house?
Why? Are you gonna show me a pumpkin house?
No.
Did you go to a pumpkin house today?
No, did I go to a pumpkin house?
Well, it's like, what the fuck?
Like a house made out of a pumpkin?
Like, I don't know. You're like, can you go inside of it? Like, did you
no,
go to
I'm just curious, man to man. I want to know if you ever like walked in a pumpkin.
Like, have I ever inserted myself into?
I'm not.
Are you asking
like,
me if I fucked a pumpkin?
No, I'm not talking to you. We're talking about like you as a kid. I'm not gonna bring up fucking a pumpkin. Jesus Christ, dude.
No, I've never been inside a pumpkin.
No, I'm like, I just wanted man to man. You see a
stop saying man to man, please.
Man to man, like, what is it? Is a pumpkin a vegetable? It's a vegetable?
Like man to man, bro. Man to man. Is a pumpkin
like,
bro? Is a pumpkin a vegetable? Man to man.
No, this is separate. This is separate from the man to man. This is now a fact check. Is a pumpkin a vegetable? It's like a root vegetable, maybe?
I think it's a berry. It's a gourd.
I feel like it's everyone's dream to walk inside of it and like live
pumpkin,
in it.
From a botanist's perspective, is a fruit because it is a product of seed-bearing structures of flowering plants. Vegetables, on the other hand, are the edible portions of plants such as leaves, stems, roots, bulbs, flowers, and tubers.
Okay.
What's good, man? It's your boy Juicy J, man. Shout out to Virtual Homework Podcast.
Yo, what's up, everyone?
Welcome, boys.
We're coming
and girls.
to you from a spooky place.
A
place that's it's actually neither Halloween for both of us. What's the next holiday?
Listen, it's Halloween enough. You know?
This is Halloween.
The Halloween spirit is still here.
It's Fiddler on the Roof Halloween. You know?
Wait, what? This is Halloween.
Jewish Halloween.
Wait, you started singing Nightmare Before Christmas, and then you just like dreidel out?
I dreidled out to a little tradition from personally my favorite musical, because we all have favorite musicals.
Yeah,
I grew up Jewish. I guess culturally Jewish. I'm very atheist. We're getting deep into the
you live the Jewish experience,
the hardcore subjects right now. But yeah, if you don't like Fiddler on the Roof and you grew up Jewish, then I don't know how that works. But tradition Halloween. If I were a rich Jack in the Box, Jack the Ripper, I don't know.
I didn't hear a single thing you just said. I was just trying to say like Diddler on the Roof.
Don't say diddler on the roof. Are you? I mean, that's scary. That's scary if you really want to go there.
He's just fucking banging like on the roof.
He's banging. I really hope a diddler isn't banging. Jesus Christ, dude.
Getting it in on the roof.
No, we're not talking diddlers banging on the roof, getting it in.
That's the 2020
diddler has a certain
version.
connotation, right?
Really? I thought it was just someone who likes to fuck.
Okay, well, move on then, if that's what you thought. We're not going to explore this. We're not going to move into this subject
Happy Halloween,
anymore.
Everybody. We're recording on Halloween, but it's not Halloween. It's 23 minutes after the hour. So, what'd you do today for your spooky holiday?
I agree with you that we're definitely recording, and this is going out there, and I guess we're going to have to pay for the consequences of the last, 2 minutes. But what did I do today for Halloween? I sat indoors. I played some Phasmophobia, actually. That's the scariest thing I did. That was not the game this week. You could probably tell that from the title.
Yeah.
Phasmophobia, there's so many games now that I just really don't understand why they're the most popular ever. It feels like every single week Twitch chat is just like, you know what, we're going to make this game the most popular game in existence. I don't think Among Us deserves it. It's a fun game. I still don't think it deserves to be top 3 in the world. Phasmophobia is so completely unfinished. But whatever, it was
literally
fun.
Just 4 of the top streamers play it together, and it becomes a marathon. I mean, I have a couple topics on the subject later in the podcast on that same exact thing. But I sat and I played computer games all day, and I had one trick-or-treater. Did you have any?
We had trick-or-treaters, but we didn't I'm not actively promoting trick-or-treating right now. The scariest trick of all is oh boom, you got COVID.
Yeah, we had
The end.
one. We didn't answer the door, and he didn't have a costume on, and was also like 14.
I remember the time I realized I was too old for trick-or-treating. Like, I think I was in like 7th grade, and I think I skipped the year before. I just like didn't do it. And I was like, you know what? I'll dress up as a skeleton. So I like cut out all these bones out of paper, and like, I don't know, I just like wore a black shirt and I like taped them to me, and I was like a skeleton. I was like, all right, this costume's decent. And then like I walked like one step out my door, and some like teenager, like probably from high school, he like rolled down his window and yelled, "Gay!" And then I just like immediately took off everything, because like it's like I guess I'm in 7th grade, I'm too old to trick or treat. So like 2007, of course some guy's gonna scream "gay" out his window. So yeah,
I'm just like pitching the situation like little Sammy boy, fucking like, all right, we're gonna have a good time, and some dude's just like "gay," and it's like, well, that's never happening again.
Yeah, that was the last time I trick or treated. Thank you for ruining my childhood innocence, man screaming "gay" out the window.
I'll tell you after the podcast what my last trick-or-treating experience was, because it is not a podcast.
We'll put that on the Patreon. We'll put that on the virtual homework Patreon for all our people who pay us $150 a month or more.
Actually, it's $4,000 a month.
Yeah, I'm down. I pay that. I give Patreon their fees. It's no big deal.
Speaking of spooky things, we kind of played a little bit of a spooky game this week. At least...
No, want to know what's more appropriate? Speaking of Halloween, because the amount of times I called this game Hallow Night, thinking it was a Halloween, like, shortened to Hallow Night. We played Hollow Night, not Hallow Night. I like told people on my stream, like, oh, I'm playing Hallow... No, actually, I didn't tell people on my stream. I told people in, like, random Discords, like, people I, like, grew up with and stuff, like, oh, I'm playing the Hallow Night. Just for fun.
Hollow?
And it's like, no, that game doesn't exist. It's Hollow Knight. HOLLOW Knight.
To be honest, I've never verbalized the word out loud until now, so it's like I never had the opportunity to say it. I just kind of...
What do you think it was, huh?
Listen, I went to public school, so hollow and hallow, I would probably type the same way, because it's like I can't spell for shit, so...
It's O versus A, man.
O versus A. But yeah, we played Hollow Knight. I wonder if I subconsciously chose it because I thought Halloween Hollow. It's like, oh, that makes sense.
I legitimately thought that was one of the reasons you chose it, and like I was like 2 days ago, I'm like, oh shit, this is not even Halloween. It's not even Halloween themed. It is a dark game though. This is like a gritty universe. So I guess let's get into the game a little bit. This is a 2D platformer. It's really as 2D platformer as it gets. There's a jump button.
It's basically a Metroidvania. If anyone has ever played any Castlevania or Metroid game or heard the term Metroidvania, this is basically a masterclass in that exact genre. I don't know how many of those types of games you've played.
I haven't played that many Metroidvanias, but like I've played a lot of very good platformers, and like this is definitely a very good platformer. I would say this is like, first of all, this, like, if you ever saw a game called, or ever watched Indie Game the Movie, like games like Meat Boy, games like Braid, it really fits up that alley. But like, this is the most indie fucking game of all time. And like,
oh yeah,
it's so goddamn indie. From the art style to like, oh, it's just like a really, really good 2D platformer to like it's got some like character to it. This is the most indie game of all time, but it is a platformer, and I will say the art style is one of the most beautiful art styles I've ever seen.
Like it looks like it's going at like 200 frames per second. Like all the animation, literally everything, it is so pretty. Like every little like grass blade, every like movement of every character, like every attack is so fluid. It looks so good. It is so pleasing to the eyes.
Yeah, and I think that honestly the art style gets to show because the gameplay it's pretty basic. I mean, it's really is a 2D platformer. Like you could tell if they just took out all the scenery, all like the foreground effects, background effects, everything like that, it would like literally just look like a Stickman platformer adventure type game that you would see on like Game Maker in 2004.
Yeah, but, so I want to go back to the point. So I said this is a Metroidvania. For those that don't know, Castlevania, they started doing like the DS versions of the games where it's a specific style of game where you're kind of given an open world with you kind of have an idea of where to go, but you're given an area and you have free roam to go around the area. And in that area, there's usually like a boss or something like that. And after you kill a boss, you get like an upgrade, whether it's like a double jump or like a double dash or something like that to move on to the next area until you have free reign of like the whole world in the game. In any of the Castlevanias, it would be like a castle. And you can also learn new abilities and like go back to previous areas, unlock secrets and stuff like that. That's basically what this is, and it's like I said before, it's a masterclass in that genre of game.
So going back even further, I mean, I agree with everything you said, but going back even further, you mentioned like the frame rate and stuff like that. I actually played this on the Switch, which I feel like probably wasn't as great as playing this on the PC from the graphical frame rate, like smoothness department, but I think it had some serious advantages. Like I was playing this game like in bed, I was just playing this game wherever I wanted. I was surprised considering how much you say you love your Switch that you decided to buy this on PC.
Doesn't even think about it because I haven't had a console in fucking like 20 years. So can I also make the point, I thought this was a kind of shorter game. I thought this game would be like maybe like 5 to 10 hours. After personally playing it for about 6.5, I realized this is almost like a 70 to 100 hour game.
I think you're wrong.
For 112% completion.
Oh, yeah, like every single game for like 112% completion is going to be like super long, but like actually beating the game, first of all, I played significantly less than you, I could already say, but like the actual game was like 20 to 25 hours.
No, I see people, like I was reading on Reddit and people saying like their first playthrough was like 49 hours.
Main story, 25 hours, main plus extras, 38 hours. Completion is 54.
But here's the thing though, this version of the game that we're currently playing has all the DLC involved, and you can do all this extra content without even realizing it. So when they say main game 25 hours, that's knowing exactly what the main game is and just doing only the main game. There's many things you could find yourself accidentally doing. You may stumble onto another area and be like, oh, I can do this. Let's do this right now. Not realizing it's not the main game to make it way more than 25 hours. I would be surprised if anybody beat this game in 25 hours. I'd probably say it's closer to about 50 for just like normal completion.
Well, the funny thing is, because I don't think we've actually discussed this, like I definitely agree. It's a very, very good platformer and has beautiful graphics. I don't see myself playing more than the 3 or 4 hours I played right now. I was so bored when I played this game. 100%. Dude,
so, were you really?
Yeah, I genuinely think that this game is mediocre and really elevated by its graphics. Like, I stared at this game thinking, like, wow, this game looks so good, but, like, I just couldn't get pulled into the game at all.
So I kind of thought the same thing because I played it for like 2 hours and I took my first break. As soon as you start getting your upgrades for your character, which basically how it works is, like I said, you go around, you kill bosses, then you start getting upgrades for your characters. And then you can also find these items, whether it's in a secret or like on like random dead enemies called charms, which augment your character with different things, whether it makes it so you auto pick up items, that you can double jump or, you know, dash down and stuff like that. That really, that's where the game starts taking off. Like I got the dash, so you can dash above gaps. You can, you know, double dash, where you can jump, move faster on the ground. You also get like a wall jump that like really just like makes you like fly up walls and stuff like that. That's when it starts really getting fun because you just like fly across these stages, just whipping the shit out of enemies. I'm not sure how far you got, so.
So I got, so the way that this game works, yeah, so he mentioned that it's really a progressive system. You start off with really just the ability to jump and use your sword, which is how you kill enemies. You occasionally will get extra physics things like being able to dash in the air, double jump, etc. And that basically allows you to get to different places on the map. It's a very exploratory game. You start off with like the same map, and the map basically expands as you're able to go into more and more exits. Like each map has like there's like 2 exits on the left, 1 down, etc. And you explore more and more of the map until like your power-ups are able to get you from area to area to area to area until you beat the game. So the same area that might be pretty small because of your current power-ups, as soon as you get one, you basically unlock like a bunch of new areas within that one area. That progression is cool, I will say, but I was able to unlock like 4 different areas. I beat like 3 different like 3 or 4 main bosses. I definitely didn't play that much just because like out of all the games I've played, I feel like this one that I actually had the least motivation to play. Usually when I play a game for the podcast, I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, I have played the amount I've supposed to play for the podcast. Like, I feel like I could actually talk about it, but I'm going to play a little bit more because I want to actually get through this game, and I know I'm probably not going to play the game after this podcast episode. This game in particular, like, not as soon as I got to the requirement for this podcast, which is technically 2 hours, but I think we've through word of mouth made it like 3 or 4 just so we could actually have a good conversation about it. Like I feel like I just got to a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm satisfied with how much I've played. I've honestly put in a large effort, but through the fact that I've lost a lot of progress through the game over system, which we'll go into right after this, and the fact that like I just feel like I'm grinding and the game really hasn't gotten better when I thought it was going to get better when I had more control of this character and was able to do all this cool stuff. Like I just felt so like little enjoyment. The reason I feel like this game just plops you in a little too fast, too hard. It's one of those games where you're kind of just put into the story, and then like you're in the middle of it. It's kind of like Cave Story. It's like, oh, what the hell is happening? And then you just start like talking to people, and they reveal what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I like those games. Like this game, like people call it 2D Dark Souls in the way it's played versus like, you know, you're trying to get from the save point to like wherever you're trying to go without dying, because it's a very unforgiving death system, I want to say, at points.
Yeah, that's really what I was talking about, and I feel like I was just a little bit too frustrated by it to really feel like it was worth it.
It's absolutely a frustrating game. So if for people that do like games like Dark Souls, Sekiro, or any of those, like, they would probably very much so enjoy this game. It's for you have to be kind of masochistic in the types of games that you like, which is surprising because you like Kaizo stuff, and I find that like the most like.
So the thing is, I actually don't like Kaizo stuff. A lot of people think I do like Kaizo stuff, and I love watching it. Every single time I try to play it, I get pissed off. Like, every time. And I would not say Lost Levels is Kaizo, because, like, that's like saying, like, I don't know, it's like hard for casual, but Kaizo like goes above and beyond to be like, this game was made to be difficult. And while Lost Levels was made to be difficult, it was made to be difficult in like 1988. Or 87 or whenever it came out.
I didn't realize you didn't like Kaizo stuff. I could have swore you used to always play it on Mario Maker and stuff.
I would play some like semi-hard stuff, but I wouldn't do levels that I had to grind for more than like 2 or 3 hours. Like some of the Kaizo stuff is like, oh, you spent 25 levels on this, or 25 hours on this level, you're really good.
Yeah, so then that would make sense why you don't like this then, because like I said, this is a very like, you have to like, you're like, there are points where I literally died getting to a point like over and over and over and over and over and over. Like,
so let's talk about the progress system a little bit. So the way this game works, like, I actually don't really understand like what the overall goal of the game is. You probably have a better idea. I noticed that like you free these slugs from like bosses occasionally, and I think that like has something to do with how this game progresses.
I'll actually go into it. We'll start with like the plot. We didn't even talk about the fucking plot of this game. You're basically like some rabbit guy who like ascends onto this kingdom, and you get to this town. It's called like Deep something. I forget the name of it. And literally the town is empty except for one person. What, unbeknownst to you, below the town is an entire expanding cavernous kingdom, which used to be sprawling with people, wealth, you know, all this wonderful stuff, but over the years has been rampaged with monsters, and a evil aura has taken over it. Seemingly one by one, everyone from that village went into said ruins, never to be seen again. So you kind of are tasked of going in there and just kind of seeing what's going on. You don't really know why you're doing it. You're just kind of doing it and, like, I guess saving things as you go along. Because what's cool is as you progress through the caverns and stuff like that, you unlock new areas, and you start finding some of the townspeople, and they're like, oh shit, like I was, you know, this evil aura has, you know, made me blind to what's going on. Thanks for committing me back to my senses. And they actually go back to the main town. They'll sell you things, upgrades, and stuff like that.
Want to know what I actually think the plot is? You land in this one town and this guy says just kill some shit, because like honestly the way that this game works and the way that dialogue is structured, like I had no attachment to the story whatsoever, and I played this game for multiple hours, and you would think that like over time it'd be like I would care about these characters in this game, but like I would just like, whatever, this bullshit world, like I'm just trying to find the next thing, go to the next place. And it wasn't like I was going into this game cynical. I'm like, oh, this is a game that's generally highly received. Like, I think it has like a 90 on Metacritic, and like I think I'm not like, oh, Dana picked this game, fuck this game, you know? But like, I don't know. Like, I just talked to people. I like randomly went to rocks and they had like poems on them. Like, this doesn't really mean anything to me, and I was just like done with it.
I think it just might be this game isn't for you. This game is hard. It's unbelievably hard. Like I said, it's incredibly frustrating at points. To go into the death system, we were kind of talking about it a little bit earlier. What happens is when you die, you spawn a ghost of yourself that you have to get back to your body and kill the ghost.
And the way that where you spawn when you die, basically the way this game works is it's like an exploratory like cavern system. So like there are certain areas like hot springs restore like some chakra you have, and like there's benches, and those benches will be where you respawn. Like the last place you rest is the last place you respawn. So hypothetically, if you do a lot of traveling and don't find a bench, you'll go all the way back to the bench, and your body, which Dana mentioned, like you spawn a spirit right after you die, that will have all of your money, and you have to go there to get it back, and it will actually attack you. And if you die twice, then you lose all your money. And do you want to go into this a little bit more?
Yeah, I think you remember me on Discord sending you a message earlier. We were having like a casual conversation about whatever, and then I just go fuckity fuck, and you're like, oh, you died twice, didn't you? Like,
yeah,
you know exactly. Like we didn't have any conversation, which it is incredibly frustrating. As you get on with the game, though, there are a lot of methods where you can get money very easily. You start getting charms and upgrades that like triple or double the amount of money you get. Money comes to you automatically, like flies at you, which is what really makes this game shine, is when you start getting these upgrades. You can augment your character to do a lot more fun stuff depending on the situation you're at.
Yeah, this is definitely a game where like progress feels good, because like you literally just start with the ability to jump and use your sword, like, and then through buying upgrades, also buying the ability to actually see where you're going. Like there's a map, but the map isn't really like super accessible. You have to like actually like buy it with your geos. That's what they call money.
Yeah, you kind of find a guy who's traveling through the caverns, and he's like making the map as he goes along. You have to buy it from him. But
I will say, I think that the actual death system turned me off from the game. The biggest bullshit thing about this game, and I know that I've kind of been a Debbie Downer for the past like 10 minutes, is that the actual recovery system is why I really didn't like the death system. It wasn't so much the death system. I think that the two deaths is fine, but the fact is, some games have iframes. It's like, oh, I got hit. I don't really know what I'm doing. I guess I'll be able to recover. This game's cooldown for getting a hit is so small that like all of a sudden, the way this game works, you have 5 hitboxes. When you kill more enemies, you get this like charge, and that charge, if you really want, you could like stand in place and like recover your health, or you could use that charge to like be like a powerful weapon, etc. But the thing about your 5 health hits is that like in Mario, you get hit once. It takes a couple seconds before you can get hit another time. Like this game, you get hit once. If you don't immediately get out of the way, you'll get hit probably 3 or 4 times. And like that's like all of a sudden most of your health is gone. You have to like hide in a place, or else you're going to get like dead.
That's a lot of why people equate it to Dark Souls, where every enemy has a specific telegraphed attack that you have to learn and like actively try to dodge. This isn't a hack and slash like in the traditional sense where you're just like B. Like you need to attack one, jump out because he's going to lunge at you. Otherwise, you're going to take a point of damage. Like jump in and hit him another time, jump out. Like you have to finesse it like you would in a Dark Souls game.
100%. Like there's definitely like patterns from and first of all, these patterns are like learned and rewarded. I actually did really like the journal, like the monster journal, that you pick up, and it's basically like, oh, if you kill 20 of these, it'll give you information regarding this enemy, and it's like, oh cool, I actually want to do that. And also the fact that like you really don't get that much money, and you really got to kill a lot of shit to like regain health and money. Like you actually do end up killing a lot of stuff. The one thing, just to finish on the recovery system, like the two deaths and you lose all your money, that's fine, except in the case where I've died in places where my recovery body, so the way that the recovery body works, it spawns somewhere in the room that you died. The way that a lot of these rooms work, as I mentioned before, there's a progress system where if you don't have a power-up, you're actually unable to get to certain areas in a single room. And sometimes my body...
exactly where you died, too.
Sometimes my body just spawns in a stupid ass place where I literally can't get to it. There's like a pond in like the first area, but you can only access it after like the third area or something like that.
Yeah, so is it the one where like
because I lost 400 geo.
Is it the ones where like the bugs are going across the water and stuff like that?
Yep, that's exactly it.
When I messaged you, that's where I had died and lost all my shit too.
Well, congratulations. This game sucks.
No.
Fuck it.
Yeah, so another point to make on that, they actually fixed that. So do you know in the main city, if you go all the way to the right, there's that
Locked door.
with a locked door. What that is, if you unlock it, it costs 950 coins or geos, whatever it's called, to unlock, and it gives you an NPC that when you die, you go back.
He'll respawn your thing, right?
He'll respawn
your
spirit, and you get all your stuff back.
Do you want to know why I know that?
Why?
Because I Googled, how do I get my spirit back when I died in this certain room, because I was so pissed. And it's like, oh, just get the NPC. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to get this. Fuck it. Yeah, I lost them all.
I was
pissed.
I was like jumping onto the enemy, getting hit, and then like trying to like dash over.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, if I like, so the way this game works, so you could like hit up, down, left, and right, and like if you hit down, you bounce off an enemy. Like, oh, I just gotta bounce off him all the way across this lake. It's like, speaking of Kaizo shit, that would be like so unbelievably hard. But it's like, I gotta do it.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible if you're obscenely good at the game. But like,
yeah, it's probably possible for a speedrunner. It's probably like actually a speedrun strat, like knowing how these things work.
Yeah. But I mean, you say you don't get involved in the story. I think that's what's so, for me, what I loved so much about it is you find more about the story as you're going on and stuff like that. Like you're just it just throws you into it. Like you're just an adventurer. You're just trying to get like guts and glory and fucking all the treasure and shit. You know, that's basically it. But then you start understanding like the world around you, why it is, like where is everything, you know, what happened, like what's your true purpose.
I think like. I'm in the wrong here. I know that, like, Metacritic isn't the end-all be-all, but when a game has a 9 out of 10, I genuinely think that it is me and not the game. That, certain times you just don't get into a story. You're not supposed to, like every single book, right? Like, every single story you either like or dislike just on the surface, and I feel like I just didn't like this game on the surface. The one thing I will say is that it was beautiful, and I think it rode so hard on that.
I like I said, for the first 2 hours, I really wasn't into it. But then, like I said, as I started getting more of the upgrades and shit like that, I really started to enjoy it. But I can understand why you wouldn't. Like, a lot of people don't like, you know, these like ultra punishing games that you get fucked over when you die and stuff like that.
It wasn't even about it being punishing. I was just like kind of sick of it. Like, I think like one of the things I disliked is like how long it took to get a map. There was the second area of the game where everything is like super green. And I feel like I completed the entire area before I got a map. And maybe that's my issue, that I didn't look for a map first. But I beat all the bosses, etc. before I got a map.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like not right. So it's like the first thing you do is like at the beginning of every area, you just go straight and then go down, and then you'll immediately start seeing like pieces of paper on the ground, and you just follow the paper and the guy's there.
Well, I didn't see that guy. I beat the lady boss after like doing massive exploratory shit, and then I went down. I found the train dude. So there's a way to travel between maps. You got to like pay your geos to this one train dude, and then it'll go from place to place. I ended up not having enough geos, so I went down. I like went to this area with a massive lake. Basically, I explored the entire area. By the time I got the map, the entire map was filled out.
That sounds like a you problem.
It sounds like a me problem, I understand, but like at the same time, come on, game designers,
the map
get
is
with
literally at the beginning of every zone.
Come on, game designers,
the map
get
is
with it.
The map is literally like the third door on like every area. Like, I guess it's just like me. I like check like before I move forward. I'll like gauge an area, and I'll be like, okay, so is this continuing on, or do I want to hit all like I hit all like the nooks and crannies of everything before I do anything else?
I emailed the game dev saying, how dare you?
Well, I think you're a stupid poopy face, and you're wrong, and that's okay, though. You're allowed to be.
Well, that's me for Halloween. Mad Gamer.
The Mad Gamer.
Yeah, got a 9 3/4 hat, because it's both Harry Potter and Alice in Wonderland in one.
I think if you like the Metroidvania types games, or even like Dark Souls or anything like that, you would probably absolutely fucking adore this game. Maybe like watch a speedrun of it, even if you don't.
I've actually seen the speedrun of it, and I don't remember a single thing from the speedrun. I remember I specifically watched the Hollow Knight speedrun, and I liked it from GDQ, and I was like, okay, I don't remember any of this.
I mean, like it is a beautiful fucking game, so.
Yeah, I like if you're into like fucking video game art at all, like this is so amazing. Like this is probably like honestly the most beautiful game I've ever seen. Like, because I'm trying to think of like any like AAA title. A lot of them are 3D graphics, and like I honestly like yeah, they're impressive, but they're not beautiful. Really, if you want to get into beautiful graphics, you have to go into 2D, and you either get the pixel art, like the perfect pixel art, like a game like Mother 3, which neither of us played, right? Neither of us played it last week.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We let you all down.
It's like I want
you.
to play. I really do want to play that, but now I want to play this, and it's like now I got to play the game.
Yeah. But yeah, like if you had a beautiful game, you really want it to be 2D. If you want to achieve perfection, you either gotta go like the pixel route, which I feel like Mother 3 actually really excels in. I'm trying to think of like a recent pixel art game that we played. But then you also have like the just 2D to the max. And honestly, I can't think of a more beautiful 2D game than I've seen than this. And like, don't tell me it's like, oh, I just recently played Dead or Alive Extreme like volleyball 2D edition, and it's so
let me tell
beautiful.
You, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball is a very fun game. Okay.
No, I will actually agree because I remember like again like this should not have been a situation, but I was getting like babysit, and it's like, oh, we got this volleyball game, and like there was no this is like not like a scary situation. It was just like I was just like not me. There were multiple people there. Was like, oh, we want to play a volleyball game, and like no one understood like the terrible things about the volleyball game. We had fun playing the volleyball game. I remember playing the volleyball game, and it was fun. That's it.
I was a young teen, and all my friends got together. I think I was like 12 or something like that. We bought this game, and we played the shit out of it because we wanted to unlock the G string. Like we spent fucking days trying to do it.
Well, I hope you got there.
We did.
I hope you did. Congratulations.
Completely irrelevant to the point of this game. Like I said, if you like these types of games,
yeah, I really liked unlocking the G string for the character. Completely irrelevant.
That
was my favorite
about Hollow Knight.
Jesus Christ.
God. Yeah, but speaking of games.
No, speaking of games, the one thing I will say, because you keep calling this the Dark Souls of 2D platformers, I remember this game is actually, I think, a little bit older than the one I'm talking about. I remember everyone was calling Salt and Sanctuary the Dark Souls of 2D platformers.
What the fuck is that?
Salt and fucking Sanctuary. And I remember, like, more than any game I've seen. Yeah, 2016. Okay, so I think this was the OG. The Salt and Sanctuary was the OG in like 2D hard platformers. And I feel like, yeah, of course there was like no part of the development cycle of Hollow Knight
this game came out in the era of where every game needed to be the X of
the Dark Souls of 2D platformers. Yeah, the Dark Souls of God simulators. The Dark Souls of puzzle platformers. The Dark Souls of puzzle games. The Dark Souls of 2D fighting games.
I was going to say one, but it's okay.
3D fighting games.
You can just keep saying them. It's all good.
Yeah, I ran out of ideas.
I was going to say Dark Souls of first-person shooters, but it's cool. You said your list.
I watched the Mega 64 video back in the day.
Oh, well, I don't remember it because I don't remember anything.
Yeah, well, it was a pretty good video, but yeah, of course, like Salt and Sanctuary, like 1 year before Hollow Knight. Like it's not that like Hollow Knight copied Salt and Sanctuary. For those who don't know, a game takes more than a year to develop, especially one that's like pretty ambitious like this one. But I remember like every single fucking person was like, "Oh, I literally searched Salt and Sanctuary, and one of the suggested videos is 2D Souls Salt and Sanctuary review." Like that's like like it's literally like I searched the game and then it's like the Dark Souls 2D game. So I bet they're very similar games. There were a lot of games that came out around this era that were just like hard 2D platformers that looked really good and had different art styles. But yeah, I was just like, everyone's calling this the Dark Souls of 2D platformers. Disagree slightly. That's all I'll say.
Have you even played Dark Souls?
I've played Demon Souls.
So no.
I guess, kinda. It's like saying, have you read The Lord of the Rings? I know what The Hobbit is.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually like a very good fucking,
there we go.
Comparison.
Baller!
Well, because The Hobbit isn't anything like The Lord of the Rings.
For those who can't tell, Sober October is over. And I'm going in on the interruptions and like the general debauchery. Because, I mean, what there to do? Sober October is only followed by Bender November. We're talking like 18 to 19 beers.
Okay, I'm on my second White Claw.
I'm on my 19th White Claw.
That's a problem.
That's like, that would legitimately be a problem because like you'd be like, Sam, should I call an ambulance? Like it looks like you're choking on your own vomit.
So, your biases aside, on your opinion on this style of game, would you recommend this to people that you would think like this type of game?
Like I don't. So the thing is, like, I feel like this game is obviously good in its own right, and like my recommendation is meaningless in this setting. Like my recommendation is like I wasn't into this game, but I could recognize it's a good platformer. I feel like.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I like. This is probably a well-made platformer, but personally, on the merits of the setting and plot, I dislike the game. But like, it's very like someone who wants to play this game is not gonna really care about my opinion on this. I feel like this game has enough praise.
The Virtual
that
Homework
anyone who wants to play
Podcast
this
is
game
the
can find a
number
way.
one fucking source of video game recommendations. Everyone listening to this right now, all one of you, how many games have you played because we talked about it?
I will probably say this is probably the most we've disagreed on a game. Or maybe not the most we've disagreed on a game, but like probably the first time in a while where we've severely disagreed.
I don't even think we disagree on the game. I think it's just a matter of different. You just don't like the style of game. Like I
like 2D platformers. That's crazy if you think I don't like the style of game.
No, I don't think this is just a 2D platformer though. I just think it's like the frustrating like.
I like Metroidvanias. Like one of my, I really like the game Valdez Story on Steam, which is a really good Metroidvania game, by the way. I recommend that one.
Fuck you! You suck, fucking piece of shit, ass.
Are you talking through a kazoo?
Fucking fuck.
Can you make a kazoo intro for this podcast? Spooky. Are you cosplaying as the mosquito from Earthbound for Halloween?
That was a kazoo.
Didn't sound like any kazoo I've played. You must be a shitty kazoo player.
Speaking of kazoos, I have been playing a shit ton of RuneScape lately, which I have.
Oh, I've been playing RuneScape too. Are you doing the
Trailblazer?
Yeah, Trailblazer. It's Quest 2 or whatever.
Yeah, were you actually playing it?
I'm actually doing this because, for those who don't know, I'm in a long-term relationship with a Pink Loon Games, and Pink Loon Games is like, please play this, and I'm like, you know what? Sure. So I got my fucking relics. I'm in.
I haven't played
the one
RuneScape.
where I could fletch immediately. All my shit in my inventory immediately goes.
I wish I got that one. I got the first one, and it fucked me over. I haven't played RuneScape in like 4 years, and literally watching streamers play this and like some videos on this made me want to play the game again. It's actually a really fun league. Basically, what it is RuneScape.
Can you say the name of it?
It's called Trailblazer League.
And it's Trailblazer League 2, right? This is now a yearly event?
No. This is Trailblazer. Trailblazer is its own separate thing. Before it was called Twisted League. This is Trailblazer League. Much in the realm how other games like Path of Exile have different named leagues. This is RuneScape's second league, which is like a seasonal server where everything is wiped at the end of it, and then you're kind of just going for rankings and stuff like that.
It's Trailblazer Realms 2 or something? I thought 2 is in the name.
It's like the league. It's League 2.
Okay, Trailblazer League 2.
Trailblazer is the name of the league, but it's the second league in the series of leagues.
Confusion League 2.
Yes, dude.
I'm just like people were into this, and it's like I'm so confused now.
So basically, everyone, you start out with 5 times experience rates. You are locked to one zone at the time. And basically what you can do is, as you do more tasks in any given area, you can get points that you can use to unlock zones. I think there's 9 total, but you can only unlock 5 total. So you kind of have to like plan out your route and what you're going to do and what your goals are for any given league. And as you get more tasks done, you get new relics that will do crazy things, like give you unlimited run energy, make it like he was saying, so all the stuff in your inventory is instantly like crafted. I picked one that makes it so everything goes automatically to your bank. So if I mine something or get wood cutting, it automatically goes to my bank. And then there's another one where all your skills are boosted by 12, so it's like you can start getting like crazy
base 12
rates immediately right off the bat. And then there's 6 tiers of relics, so you can start getting crazier and crazier builds, and you just get fucking nutty.
And the way you get relics is basically by playing the game. Like, you have these like achievements. It's like your gamer score allows you to get from relic 1 to 2 to 3, whatever your level. So like if you get like base level 10, then all of a sudden you're able to get like a new relic, or if you get like certain like you fish enough, then like you get points, and then you get to expand towards your second relic, third relic, etc. Dan is laughing at me because he's like, oh, he's such a noob at RuneScape. He doesn't understand. I know what Bob the Cat is.
I'm just
I
excited.
know Evil Bob.
I'm just excited that you're playing this. Like, are you actually having fun with it?
I got bored, so I'm playing less than Pink, but Pink is also playing.
Okay.
I'm probably going to play more now that I know my co-host is playing, so just so I can beat him. What level are you?
I am total level 650. But yeah, I think it's revitalizing to the game. I think it's adding a lot of new content that would otherwise not be used, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
For those who think they're good at RuneScape, I recommend you follow Spicy RS through his time in Twisted League 2. And you will probably...
It's not Twisted League 2.
Tangled League 2. I'm so confident, but apparently so wrong. What's it called?
So it's the league system, but it's the second league, and this specific league, the second league, is called Trailblazer League.
So I implore those who are interested in RuneScape to call the second league Trailblazer. Go on there and then Google Spicy RS, and then Google my stats on the Trailblazer second league, and you'll find that my fishing level is 18.
Mine is 60.
Go fuck yourself.
Another reason why I brought this up, actually, it goes on to a bigger point, is we were talking earlier about how Among Us and games like Phasmophobia got big because of streamers. Basically, a streamer will play a game and it gets very popular, obviously, and then suddenly every streamer's playing it, everyone's playing it, so on and so forth. What got me into this league was Asmongold did a sponsored stream for Old School RuneScape. He was the first. This is the first time he's ever played RuneScape, or at least in like 10, 15 years or whatever.
For those who don't know, Asmongold is a massive WoW streamer, massive MMO streamer. So
Yeah,
like an MMO player going to a different MMO is actually a huge deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. He probably got paid a large sum of money to basically noob it up in Twisted League, and then he had an interview with the devs of the game, and it just goes to show that like it's better advertising. Just pay a fucking big streamer to play your game because people want to play it. Because that's why I got back into it.
So you're telling me if I spend $2 million or whatever Hyperscape spent on like an emote system where people unlock emotes by subbing and they get Hyperscape emotes, and the fact that like 300 people watch Hyperscape right now, you're telling me that's not a good system? You're telling me that people want to play games that people stream?
Yeah.
What? No, that's definitely how it works. Like, I feel like most people don't realize that, and it's stupid. Like, someone made a tweet actually recently. I think it was Author Blues. So sorry if I'm quoting the wrong person, but someone was just like, there's apparently like people who are like actually advertising their services like DoorDash. It's like, oh, you get a DoorDash ad on Twitch. So Twitch's ad system has gotten worse. Have you noticed that people with ad blocks?
So bad, dude. Like, I'll be watching a stream and I'll get like 4 fucking ads in the middle of like a 15-minute period. I'll get like 4 ads. Did
you see the new thing where like if you have an ad blocker, it's like, oh, we notice you're using an ad blocker. Please whitelist Twitch or whatever.
Yeah. It's terrible.
It's terrible. Then ad blockers that don't get that also don't work. Like they've actually like somehow outsmarted the ad blockers. Amazon, how dare you?
I was literally watching a stream the other day. It was like world first, like they're killing this boss, and right as the boss, like the boss at like 2% health, everyone's like, oh my god, like this is the hypest moment.
The death animation. It's like a Wendy's ad.
No, the ad, an ad came up and everyone's like, what the fuck ad? And all the streamers are pissed because they're not placing these ads. Twitch is forcing them to do it.
Yeah. It's like, so Twitch now has mid-roll ads every 20 minutes or so. It's like, it's arbitrary. So it's like,
it's more
when they go
often
live, it's like, oh, 20 minutes from now, you're going to get an ad. But like, someone I think it was Author Blues, like was basically like, oh, I see a DoorDash ad all the time on Twitch, and like it really actually actively makes me not want DoorDash because they're interrupting my stream. But if DoorDash actually sponsored streamers, like you don't even have to talk about DoorDash, but if you just said, I'm hungry, I'm ordering Wendy's right now. Oh, I just got this Wendy's on DoorDash. Like, okay, I shouldn't say don't talk about DoorDash. Just mention you got this Wendy's on DoorDash. That's going to make people hungry and order Wendy's on DoorDash. How many times have you ordered food because a streamer was hungry and ordered food?
Literally never.
Really? Okay, I've definitely done that at least once. What, you're not like watching at like 1 a.m. and someone's like, oh, I'm fucking hungry. Like, oh, I just got this fucking Thai food from Uber Eats. Oh,
No,
I'm gonna...
no, because at that point I would have already got myself food.
Because you already got rice cooker in your house.
Yeah, I'd fucking been rice cookering it up. I actually had pasta today though.
I'm seeing like Dana's sweating rice right now. It's kind of a weird phenomenon.
I'm like full fucking rice pellets are coming out of my pores.
You're just like eating them as they're dripping down your face. Jesus Christ.
That is absolutely disgusting.
It's Halloween. Like, speaking of scary, like the Brood Witch now exists for real.
Like the actual sandwich.
Yeah, the Binging with Babish did a Brood Witch episode.
I would see. It's like you link that to me. I have a link of like a playlist of like 15 videos I've been meaning to watch, and it's just like between like I'm full timing 3 MMOs right now on top of having to play a game for the week.
So yeah, RuneScape, MapleStory, and WoW.
Yeah, I do. I haven't done my dailies in MapleStory for like 4 days. It's a big deal.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Fuck you.
I know. I mean, yeah, fuck me, but at the same time, like MapleStory is terrible, and I know that because I spent thousands of hours on MapleStory.
It is better now than Cyberpunk.
That's like a heroin addict saying heroin is terrible. I'm allowed to say it. And you're like, oh, heroin's better now. I'm like, yeah, I know fentanyl is more potent than heroin.
Heroin's better now. I mean, that really goes for any like MMO that's like hyper addicting and stuff like that.
Really goes for, like really no human being should be playing MMOs.
I think you're too addicted to playing the Lost Levels.
Oh, really? Because I'm not even playing just the Lost Levels now. I'm getting gangbanged by all 5, you know?
You're doing 5 types of heroin at once now.
Yeah. Like, imagine, like, what would you do if, like, are MMOs inherently, like, bad?
Yes.
Yeah, like, because, like, if you heard, like, some member of Congress, like, I'm not getting political, but, like, if you heard if someone in, like, a higher up position was playing an MMO, you'd be concerned, right?
Well, I think there should be legal precedents that people under the age of, like, 19 should be, like, legally barred from playing an MMO, because it is, like, life-ruining. I
mean, you could just go to, like, China and then get shock therapy at the age of 14 because you played it, Latale or something.
Wait, what? That sounds kind of cool.
It sounds cool to get shocked by the Chinese government. I mean, like, honestly, like, Tank Man is it's on t-shirts everywhere.
You've tapped into my fetish. I want to get shocked by the Chinese government.
I bet someone is actually like super hard right now listening to that. But like, I don't know, like if you heard like, doesn't matter who, I'm not going to name names because it's going to get inherently political. You heard your congressman was like level cap and WoW. I mean, I guess that wouldn't matter. He's like, oh, he paid for it. But you heard your congressman was level 250 in MapleStory, you'd be concerned. You'd be like, is he getting work done?
Yeah, like 250, sure. I'm 241. Yeah, I'm 241.
Not even 250. Not even 5th job. What even are there 5th jobs?
No. Well, yeah, actually, kind of. It's a complicated system that people on this podcast really don't care about.
Oh, you're telling me they don't care about the MapleStory leveling system?
Like,
wow.
fuck you. Like, everything about this is.
This is just like a personal attack. Like, we're not gonna have an episode 20 or. Yeah, we're on 28 right now, right? 27? Something like that. Oh, we're on 27, yeah. We're not going to have an episode 28 because like, Dana's going to be like, you know what? I don't accept this bullying anymore. Unless you pay me $40,000 a year.
I mean, I would do anything for money. Well, to be fair, though, as long as you don't do Gruelcast, like, I'm fine with like whatever you throw at me. So,
just intervention every cast.
Dude, we were talking about Twitch, and it's like I want to talk about like the DMCA shit. Like, there's a shit ton of stuff going on with Twitch right now.
All right, well, let's immediately switch the subject. Herman Lee. I was gonna say Herman Miller because I am obsessed with my own share, which I'm not actually using because my girlfriend stole it.
We mentioned last week the whole DMCA stuff going down, everyone freaking out about it. It's actually happening. One of the lead guitarists from the band Dragon Force, he streams on Twitch. He'll physically play his own music. He got DMCA'd playing his own music because obviously, I guess the band doesn't own like the rights to their own music.
It's like, have you ever gone on YouTube and saw a video demonetized for playing the tune of something? Like, they're literally like someone is singing the tune of like, I don't know, Gangnam Style, and they get DMCA'd for like, oh, that was in the tune of Gangnam Style. That's the tune of Gangnam Style is copyrighted.
It's literally the artist playing his own song, and he got banned from Twitch for like 3 days or something because of it. That is so asinine. I mean, I understand why it happens and stuff like that. I'm not like, oh, why this? Like, I get it. It just, like, holy shit, man. It's getting to the point where I'm watching big streamers and they're like, I'm not playing music anymore at all because I don't want to deal with it. I already have 5 to 6 DMCA strikes because what they're doing is they're going from clips from like 3 years ago and looking for that one 50-cent song you played for 12 seconds and giving you a strike on it. Like, yeah,
and it's not like a single strike. It's like you got like 3 cases of those. It's like, oh, you know, you've been clean for 7 years and we love you on our platform. It doesn't matter because if you play one more copyrighted song because you got 7 strikes at once, we're killing your channel.
Yeah, and your livelihood is literally gone. It's incredibly obscene. There's a lot of bad shit going on with Twitch right now. I know we talk a lot about Twitch. I guess it's just because it's so ingrained with like gaming and, you know, the internet in general that it's hard not to talk about it because this stuff it affects us every day, you know, whether it's the ads or it's the DMCAs or what. It's extremely frustrating. I wish YouTube had a better streaming system because everything about them they already have it all figured out, you know?
YouTube is just as bad in terms of like what you get copyrighted for, but the difference between YouTube and Twitch is that you don't really have your channel looming. Like, yeah, there are copyright strikes versus copyright claims, but at the same time, like, I would be much less worried being on YouTube about my channel closing rather than
on YouTube they have the means to, you know, like edit clips, do everything like that. They have the automated systems that handle that. Twitch
is just like delete it, please. We don't know what it is, but just delete it, please.
Just delete it, like. And you're just like, well, what is it? All right, I have to delete 7 years worth of fucking videos on my channel. Fuck you.
Yo, so we're talking about bad guys. Did you see that thing about Billy Mitchell? Someone didn't do their homework for virtual homework.
I actually did do the thing on Billy Mitchell. I'm trying to remember what it was, though. Wasn't it like...
Billy Mitchell is so much bullshit. It's like, oh, what bullshit are you talking about? Let me go in my Billy Mitchell bullshit
I read
drawer.
the article, and there was like a little bit more on it. So basically, the article said that like the court kind of threw it out, but like it got thrown out. I'm trying to see how to fucking phrase it. Like the action to like throw it out got thrown out, so it's like he has to like sue if he wants to pursue it. Like it's basically a bunch of bullshit.
So Billy Mitchell is suing a lot of people because Billy Mitchell is a very litigious person. In fact, if Billy Mitchell somehow is one of the 30 people that views this podcast, we're probably going to get
Billy
sued.
Mitchell is a little bitch boy. I'm going to say it.
Yeah, he's a little bitch boy. I'll say that much. I mean, like, that's our opinion. It's not fact.
Billy Bitchell.
That's not fact. And if we get sued by Billy Mitchell, expect
Billy
us to be
Bitchell.
Expect us to be the virtual Bitchell podcast. Sure, that's a terrible name, but at the same time, Billy Mitchell is a very litigious person. He's suing a lot of people who have claimed his records are fake, which we have no ability to claim because neither of us actually give a shit about Donkey Kong. All I know is that as a speedrunner, the burden of proof is on the individual, and people have definitely had a lot of evidence against him. He has not said anything that has proved his case, so I'm a little suspicious, let's just say that. But Billy Mitchell sued Twin Galaxy specifically, saying that them removing his times was like in violation of like, it's like defamation or something like that. And the case got thrown out with a caveat. It basically said, we are throwing this out because this is a stupid ass claim and you're a litigious asshole, but you're able to overturn us throwing it out if you're willing to send an $80,000 deposit for lawyer fees, which apparently has been paid. So Billy Mitchell is spending a shit ton of money.
Dude, fuck him, man.
Yeah, fuck him, honestly. Like, this is a terrible situation for...
Like he's upset. That's like, you know, MySpace taking down, like one of their news articles from 10 years ago, and you're like suing them over. Like, what?
Billy Mitchell is one of these people. Like, The King of Kong is a documentary, and they obviously, for the sake of entertainment, definitely played up some of the crazy shit that happens in the retro game community. But I've met a lot of people in the retro game community, and like a lot of them are great people, but I know for a fact certain people are completely defined about being good at a video game that was created 30 years ago, and because of that,
it's like all they have, and it's like if they don't have that, then it's like they're thinking like, well, what am I? So they have to defend it for every ounce.
And the older the game, and the more they've been playing the game, really the more they've been playing the game, the more it really affects their ego. Billy Mitchell has cared about the the Donkey Kong score for longer than he's like the majority of his life. Like there's been more time where this Donkey Kong score has defined him than the other way around, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it just really sucks, and it just sours the whole thing. I mean, Galaxies is irrelevant to anyone under the age of, like, what, like, was it 35? Like,
I want to say, like, even 40. Like, it's Twin Galaxies was never really relevant. Like, it was relevant as in, like,
well, it was relevant in like the old days when like there was like not many other websites. Yeah, there was like SDA and like stuff like that, but like it was as relevant as like Guinness Book of World Records was when we were kids. You know, it's no longer relevant.
I the reason I said it was never really relevant is like because I don't know many people who really cared about like Twin Galaxies as a whole. Like Twin Galaxies, like it's just like the grading system, right? Like if you have a card graded, like it's not really relevant. Like you don't really care that much about like as long as it's official, like you don't care too much about like the people grading it as long as it's like graded like accurately and like it represents the card itself. Like
I'm actually gonna cut you off. That is entirely completely fucking wrong because like the 4 major grading labels, there's entire different prestige grading and everything behind it.
Let me go into this. Like, yes, you care about the name, but you like don't actually like care and follow the organization. It's just like, oh, I know they're legit. That's all that matters. Like you don't actually care about the internals of that organization.
I mean, I guess it's different like in card collecting because like
okay,
PSA
we're done with. I'm gonna just cut this because I sound like a massive idiot. I understand.
Like Beckett and PSA are like huge. Like everybody knows everything.
Okay. This whole thing, the fact that we're talking about it, like it's really working. I guess like Billy Mitchell's entire life is him trying to be in the public eye. It's just like him suing an irrelevant organization because he wants relevance in their irrelevance. Like it's so small, and it's just upsetting.
I mean, it's like, I guess when you have that kind of ego and it's like everything in your life is literally tied to that and you have nothing else, it's like, I guess you're going to fight for it. And
you have shitty hot sauce money, apparently.
We're
just talking about things that are pissing people off, though, like that fucking Cyberpunk update.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Cyberpunk?
Yeah, Cyberpunk got delayed. Apparently a bunch of people took off work to play it, and they're really pissed off. It's the same thing that happened with World of Warcraft, which, by the way, the new Shadowlands expansion got announced for November 23rd. Get hyped. I'm excited.
I will say that, like, I don't have sympathy for people who take off work for a video game that, like, I do have sympathy in that they really said this was the deadline, but, like, that's, out of all the things to, like, really be truly upset about, like, oh, I'm playing a video game on my day off. Like, I understand why you're upset, but it's like not really a life-changing thing. Like,
but like people like for WoW, I guess it's different because you take off like you save up all your vacation time for this, like literally, and it's like you already did it in advance, and you're just like completely fucked now.
Like I see people like tweeting like I took off Friday, and now the game's not coming out. How fucking dare you? The thing is, the game is coming out 3 weeks later, which means to me that it's really not a development snag unless they had like a weird ass bug that like they're like, oh, we really need to fix this. But I bet it's a production issue. It's like, oh, the people producing discs for this game can't get enough in time or something like that. Because like, really,
makes more sense.
Like what massive issue that would delay a game would be in the code that they would be confident enough saying 3 weeks is all we need to fix this? Like sometimes the way that coding works is like you find a bug and sometimes that bug means that there's like more underneath the surface, et cetera, et cetera. If it gets delayed again, then maybe it's a programming issue. But like at the same time, this game has been delayed so many times as a meme. People were literally making memes out of this delay. Did you see those?
Honest, yeah, I'm not even that. Oh yeah, the memes and stuff like that. Like other companies were like, yeah, we're actually coming out, but you know.
Yeah, it's like we just wanted to make a message on yellow text because the message from Cyberpunk's developers was on like yellow text, black text, yellow background.
Are you even going to play Cyberpunk? I don't know.
Of course not. Like the thing is, I bet I would enjoy it. Want to know why? We played Death Stranding, and I would probably not say they're like super similar, but they're both AAA like RPG kind of titles. Like I know Cyberpunk is like not really like, would you call it an RPG or would you call it like more of like, what is GTA?
Open world RPG, I guess.
Yeah, because it's kind of like GTA, but in the future, almost, right? Kind of like
maybe
you can do anything.
Maybe if it's my week, I'll make us play it.
Maybe you buy it for me this time, huh?
Okay.
Never. But at the same time, like, yeah, now I'm really like, is GTA an RPG? Like, what the fuck?
Yes, it is an role-playing game. You are assuming a role and you are playing a game.
I don't know. When I think of RPG, I just think of like I'm Cloud. I'm gonna use my sword of Sephiroth.
Not every role-playing game
kill...
is that. Like in fucking Earthbound is an RPG. Like not role-playing.
But like
doesn't
Earthbound and Final Fantasy are much more similar than Final Fantasy and Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, it's just apples to oranges, man.
Apples and oranges are different.
Picked from the same tree, but different flavors of the same kind.
I don't think that apples and oranges grow on the same tree, man.
Listen, it's a fucking RPG. Oh, we're Googling this.
I guess. I genuinely think it is an RPG.
Is GTA an RPG? Grand Theft Auto
Open World Sandbox?
What type of game is GTA? Action adventure game.
Go in a hole. A hole of shame and despair.
A role-playing game is a game in which players assume the roles of characters in a fictional setting. These electronic games sometimes share settings and rules with tabletop RPGs, but emphasize character advancement more than collaborative storytelling.
I want to play the GTA tabletop. It probably doesn't exist, but that'd be really funny.
I guess it's an action adventure game with RPG elements, so I guess it's not an RPG.
So it was just like every genre. Like what? With RPG elements, what does that even mean? Like it's not you, it's like the descriptor.
I mean, it's like it's not. I guess it's not, action adventure makes more sense. I guess it's not an RPG. RPG typically means you have a character, you like level up and stuff like that. That you don't really have to level up.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm trying to think of any RPG where you don't really level up, and I can't think of one off the top of my head.
So it's like then at the same time, then Cyberpunk is probably an open world sandbox fucking action adventure game.
I guess that is probably similar. Like it's probably the same genre actually as Death Stranding, because like you didn't really level up your character in Death Stranding.
It's a Strand game.
Yeah.
What's the genre? Strand.
It's a Strand game. Every new game that's ever made by a AAA studio is going to be a Strand game.
A Strand game.
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077, the second Strand game.
A Strand game.
I mean, if we're talking about like tabletop games, especially, I would love if they made a GTA tabletop game. I would honestly buy the GTA board game because that'd be hilarious. It's like a game of life, but it's like GTA.
I think there actually is one. Google Grand Theft Auto board game.
More like I'm bored of the game. Oh.
There is a board game. Oh, it was a Mad TV sketch.
But did the Mad TV sketch sell real copies of the board game?
No.
But what's the deal with this Blizzard tabletop game?
What's the deal with airline food?
Well, really, what's if Jerry Seinfeld was asking about the War Chief Gaming tabletop game, I would agree.
Okay, so Chris Metzen, if you know him, he's of fabled Warcraft and Blizzard lore. He's one of the, I believe he was like head developer for Worldcraft for like many, many, many years, from beginning to, I want to say, Miss Pandaria. I could be wrong, but then he quit. And what he is doing, he is creating a company called War Chief Gaming with another ex development lead or CEO, whatever, someone high up in the Blizzard ranks. And like I said, they're making a tabletop company called War Chief Gaming. I'm kind of excited to see where it comes of it.
Name a better duo: senior Blizzard employee and leaving Blizzard. Like every single, it's like you hear like news like every other week. It's like this Blizzard executive, he's leaving Blizzard, making his own studio. Ben Brode leaving Blizzard. War Chief Gaming. What's that other one that just happened? Like we talked about like 2 podcasts ago.
I don't know what I had for breakfast.
That's a weird name for a game studio, but I'll trust you on that one. But yeah, like all these, like Blizzard is basically a sinking ship, and like people have known that for a while. The fact that like the fact that like there were literal protests at the last BlizzCon, probably the last BlizzCon, if we're being honest, based on like the fact that like no event is happening till 2025. But
yeah, I mean, like all their games are sinking ships. Like the player bases of all of them are dwindling.
Ironically, the game that I've enjoyed the most that's probably going to come out soonest is Diablo Immortal for mobile. And that wasn't even made by Blizzard. That's just Blizzard. Like
I did hear there's a new Hearthstone update, and I heard it is pretty fun still.
I have not played any Hearthstone duels, and I don't give a shit. I just watch my Hearthstone Battleground streamers.
everyone in my Discord, they play it all day. So,
well, tell them to listen to the podcast instead. You can't do both for some reason.
So I link the podcast in my guild's Discord, and they say they're going to report us for like terroristic crimes. So I stopped doing
that's
it.
why we average a 1-star on Apple iTunes. We don't even have 10,000 listeners. I'm surprised they got 10,000 1-stars on Apple iTunes. Apple iTunes. I fucking sound like I'm 40 years old. But
Apple iTunes.
But no, on the actual topic at hand, because we got very off track, what's the deal with this tabletop game? What's the deal with this tabletop game?
I mean, there's really not much information about the actual game other than the fact that they're coming together to work on such a thing. And being that I work at a game store, this is very exciting because a lot of companies like Avalon Hill and other companies have kind of gone away over the years. To see some new companies coming and possibly making some, like, you know, I guess you would call it AAA board games, because a lot of the stuff is either indie or like the same like 3 companies. It was kind of refreshing to see, and the fact that a lot of people, there's like the name recognition behind it, really attests to, I think it'll sell well because it has that recognition. So I'm excited for it.
So let's get into financial specifics. How much of your revenue as a company relies on Warhammer?
None.
Really? You don't sell? Really?
Like,
you don't do Warhammer at your store?
One store in the company has Warhammer. Like, we stopped doing it because it's like such a shitty company.
So, okay, but like I thought Warhammer was like one of the largest tabletop games.
No. What tabletop games is like board games. Like, that's just an all-encompassing term. So like the games like Catan or Gloomhaven.
No, I get that, but like I go to like board game stores and like there's like literally half the stores devoted to painting Warhammer figurines.
That's some stores. Warhammer. So here's the thing that's the problem with Warhammer. This is another side fucking thing. Warhammer is dwindling like a motherfucker. People are not playing it because let's say it's an expensive game. Like, to have an army, you have to spend like $500, like, to even play it. So let's say you're like a dad and you have a kid and you play Warhammer, and it's like your kid's like, "Oh, that looks really cool, Dad. I want to play." You have to drop $400 on this kid just to see if it's something he likes, and then if he doesn't like it, there's 0 resale value on any of your fucking miniatures.
Yeah, I've been spending like $15 a month on their MMO, and like the servers are down like constantly. I'm trying to like log in, and it's like, come on, man. I actually played Warhammer Online for 2 months and it was fun, but then they like immediately cut off the servers. I was sad.
So Warhammer, in my opinion, has the coolest universe out of anything that's ever existed ever. They're so fucking cool. But it is a dying company. What were we talking about again?
We were talking about just like video games. Like the thing is, like Warhammer is like they're dying, obviously, but at the same time, like.
But like board games in general and Dungeons and Dragons is bigger than ever.
Well, board games especially are bigger than ever just because of COVID. Like this is like perfect COVID time. Like families, we're playing a board game tonight, and Monopoly sucks because Monopoly actually does suck. But at the same time, like
it's not even families playing; it's just like nerdy people playing, like, you know,
True.
These RPG-driven games or like strategy games and stuff like that.
But like I hate the argument that like Warhammer's too expensive when people are literally spending $1,000 per Pokemon card.
That's a completely different thing, because that's collectible versus like your child. Like a kid doesn't need $1,000 Pokemon card to have fun with something. Like they could spend $10 versus like to have fun with Warhammer, you need to spend like $300. Like, so it's like the barrier of entry to Pokemon is like 0 versus the barrier of entry to Warhammer is like $300.
Really good transition. I mean, if we're talking like just this episode of the podcast, I feel like I've been a little too edgy.
Not really. I mean,
I feel like I've just been angry ever since we talked about whatever it's called, Hollow Knight.
I was talking about Hollow Knight. You're like, fuck you, Dana. Like, fuck your life. Fuck
like,
your
we were
ancestors.
having like a good conversation. I was like, oh, this game is beautiful. Oh, I agree. This is a masterclass in platforming. Oh, this game is beautiful. Oh,
no,
when you jump from over there to over there, that's great.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that for a second? That was like so jarring. Like we're talking about the game for 10 minutes. Like, yeah, this is beautiful. Like the movement, this, that, and you're like, by the way, I think this game's super fucking mediocre, and let me tell you why. And I was just like, wait, what? You just said so many good things.
That episode started exactly like all our other episodes where we just praised the game for like 40 minutes. But like, I legitimately was bored with it. I will say though, like this edgy atmosphere has really reminded me of a time in our life that we've actually talked about on the podcast,
Every
but not
episode?
really. For those who don't know, we talk about like just random shit for like 20 minutes to warm up. And like I think last episode actually we talked about YTMND and like MySpace for like 15 minutes, and we're just like, oh, check out our YTMNDs because we both have we both have inactive but still existing YTMND accounts. I was like, oh shit, here are my YTMNDs from 2007.
What the fuck's YTMND? Why don't you give us a crash course on what the fuck YTMND is?
You're the man now, dog. For those who don't know, the internet was a very different place in 2003, 2004. There was an era, I'm going to call it 2002 to 2007. It was a really good 5 years where there was a lot of decentralization. Like, really, with the advent of YouTube being bought by Google, I feel like that was the beginning of the end, where basically you had one site where you did everything in a certain media.
feel that was more so when iPhones became a thing, and then suddenly everyone was on the internet. Before, it was only, like, nerdy people on the internet, and then out of nowhere, everyone was on the internet.
I mean, yeah, that definitely led to centralization, but, like, I feel like YouTube's popularity... completely ruined like the video hosting website. So like you had eBaum's World, you had Newgrounds, you had this website that was not really a video hosting website. It was really, there's really nothing like it ever since. It's called YTMND. And the whole point of YTMND, which stands for You're the Man Now Dog, which was I think the first YTMND clip, not.
There's 3 things. You need image, sound, and text. And that is all you fucking need.
Yeah, so it's GIF mixed with music and a little bit of a caption. So think of like old school memes like Advice Animals where you had top text, bottom text, but they specifically had a GIF and music to go with it. So the first one I think that ever existed was a clip of Sean Connery going, "You're the man now, dog," which a movie I've actually seen. I saw it like in 2007 because I was like, oh shit, this is the movie from YTMND. Basically, there were a bunch of edgy memes where it's like, oh, I'll show this picture of this, like, Star Wars kid, and I'll, like, say, LOL, this kid's a nerd, or something like that. Like, that was the most tame word. There's a lot of ableist language. There's a lot of, really offensive music. There's a lot of really offensive gifs.
2003 to 2008 is just, like, it's completely ableist, so it's like, we can't say what 9%
we can't
of the
say this, like,
was.
with a conscience, honestly.
So, so is it bad that we look, like, somewhat fondly on that era when it's, like, very, very ableist? Or do we just, like, kind of get past that and just think about all the other good things?
No, I don't look fondly on, like, the actual, like, things we did. I look fondly on, like, the actual platforms. Like, I could miss the place without missing like what I did on that place. Like, of course, when in 2005, I did not realize that I was being hyper offensive. Like I mentioned to you before, like I've been listening to like the Mega 64 podcast from episode 1 to like episode 500 because like I'm a big fan of them, and I'm like, you know what? I have way too much free time. I'm gonna listen to all this podcast. People were just so fucking edgy back in the day. It's unbearable. It's like, why do we hate literally everything? It's like, oh, that's lame. Oh, that's not cool. Like, and honestly, like, I feel like I've been edgy this podcast, but at the same time,
not really.
It's brought me to episodes.
I think there's a clear difference between 2007 edginess and you just saying, like, nicely saying, like, well, I disagree with this game because this.
I didn't call anything the R word.
And I stopped myself 5 or 6 times from saying the R word, so I get a star on my chart today.
Yeah, we've gone a long way from your stream of you playing The Witness literally this year. Congratulations. Congratulations for the call out. But no, you also even said in the podcast, or not in the stream, it's like, oh, I shouldn't be saying this. It's me with reflexes. Dana is an evolved man. Dana has gone from simp for Pokimane to strong individual.
What?
Yeah,
I've
remember?
Literally... Don't even get into this meme. This meme fucking sucks.
It does suck, but at the same time, there was a time when Dana did not even exist. He was just like, I exist for Pokimane, and it was.
I have literally
sad.
never seen a Pokemon stream.
I mean, she's fine, I guess. I don't watch her. I don't watch Pokimane.
I watch a lot of big streamers.
The biggest streamer I watch are some Hearthstone streamers, but that's about it. But YTMND, the reason why we're talking about this, there was some edgy shit on there, but want to know what's really edgy? All the fucking YTMND is happening right now, because unfortunately, for those who don't know, we've had a Wilford Brimley podcast episode before. This is the Sean Connery podcast episode. We're going to have a little bit of Sean Connery in the podcast on the top left, similar to our Wilford Brimley episode.
Wait, did Sean Connery die?
Did you not realize that? when I sent you the fucking Sean Connery is dead YTMND? Sean Connery died today on Halloween. Well,
Wait,
yesterday.
for what? Really?
Yeah, he died at 90. I mean, like, he had a long life.
What the fuck?
I can't believe you did not know this.
Gone too soon. Too soon.
At the same time, like, Sean Connery lived to 90. He had a very good life, I assume.
Listen, he should have lived to 150 and then became Robot Connery, and he leads the Resistance.
Mecha Connery.
Yeah, he leads the Resistance.
I'd be down with that, but at the same time, I do actually feel really bad about Sean Connery dying. I've seen a couple Sean Connery movies, and I did like his performance. Sean Connery did not give a shit about me. Sean Connery did not know who I was. But I'm sad because it's the end of an era, honestly. YTMND was one of my favorite places on the internet for a while, and the fact that the literal namesake of the site is now dead does make me sad. The thing is, though, like, the context for, like, me being so surprised that Dana doesn't know that he died, I linked him, like multiple Sean Connery died YTMNDs, one of which is like a classic YTMND. There was like this Lando meme on YTMND. It's like the meme is like the website's called Sean Connery is dead and like Lando is not, and then it plays this like epic music and it's a fucking dope YTMND. But like, yeah, of course YTMND is gonna meme on Sean Connery's death. At the same time, I'm so surprised that you just thought this was like a weird ass funny YTMND. God damn.
I've literally been playing Hollow Knight like since I woke up today. Like, I've been playing the shit out of it and RuneScape. I just have not been plugged in. I'm plugged out.
You're plugged in right now?
I'm plugged out, Girl Scout.
Hey guys, so if you liked the episode, make sure to follow Virtual Homework Podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and rate it 5 stars if you can.
Or if you hate it, do 5 stars anyway, or I will find you.
If you rate it less than 5 stars, Dan will be bound and gagged on a train track.
Wait, what?